And hey, Rookie didn't even have an off game. It was also doing well alongside Shun popping off. So it does feel like multiple pop-off members. And as we said right at the very start of the day, right? This is a game all about the top side of the map. Very much away from the AD carries, very much about our mid laners, our top laners, and junglers setting them up. Shun taking this thing into his own hands as the Nidalee is banned. This time it's banned by OMG, as we've seen both Aki and Shun happy to grab that one for themselves. The Rumble taken off the board this time as well, as Lee Sin is the first pick for OMG.
Yeah, that's the adaptation from Game 1, right? Game 1, IG banned Lee Sin. This time they're going to leave it open and say, hey, we're fine giving that over to either New or Cream. Aki, of course, can pick that one up as well. You still have something like the Udyr open, which is where it's typically been the priority jungle once we get to red side. Other things are left open. With Varus off the table, though, Wink is going to go towards that other, I'd say, safer AD carry, not the same amount of lane presence that the Varus does have, but still going to be fine farming down solo if Lucas wants to look for roam timers on the map.
If Shun locks in an Evelynn this early into the draft, I'll be very surprised. I'll be shocked. But he has definitely shown that he's a player of individual style so far in this series. The Volibear is going to be locked in. It does ruin my day, but that's okay. I was hoping for more shenanigans. Over to OMG now, as they could lock in something like their bottom lane, or I mean, who knows, honestly. There's so many different directions you can go currently.
Yeah, and we've already hit on how OMG have been one of the fans of just going for Thresh plus hyper carry bottom lanes. Instead, they are just going to opt back into going with the Kai'Sa composition, saying, hey, we have Lee Sin, a champion who does just want to dive forward and get onto the back line. We're going to keep indexing into that area, pick up the Kai'Sa right alongside. We do know that IG have obviously shown what's expected to be their top laner. Of course, it can be flexed into the jungle role, but with the fact that OMG do have Lee Sin, no, I'm surprised. They're just going to show that one instantly that it's most likely top lane. Of course, it can go into the jungle, but wanting to give Cream, once again, his Akali.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised to see it just blind locked so early. But at the same time, we did see it blinded in game number 1. Even though it wasn't before the second ban phase, it was still a blind pick Akali, so it seems comfortable to go for that one up against Rookie. And after game 1, I'm not that surprised. Shun goes with the Diana again, though. The moon-based champion doing so damn well in the last game for Shun. And we'll see what Aki can do about it this time around. He'll be able to answer the pick and see what he can bring to the table that might be able to face up against it, because Shun really took over in that last one.
Yeah, and it seems like IG are being conscious of the fact that this can be a Lee Sin in the jungle with the fact that they are banning Outset. We don't expect to see that in the support role. We haven't really seen it ever since Hex Flash has been disabled, because that really stops his play pattern of, hey, I could just mindlessly flash in level 1 because I'm such a strong level 1 champion coming out from the damage from my passive. And yeah, not going to be able to do that. So taking that one off the table. I like that they're also following up with the Udyr ban, because you have first choice at support. You would expect that Lucas wants to go towards something like what would be a Nautilus or a Leona, have some lockdown to keep Cream from getting on the carry champions later on, and something that can influence the rest of the map with a heavy roam style.
So over to OMG to get that last ban out of this one. Maybe something like Silas. No, Galio could be taken off the board. Obviously, Galio does a very good job of just body checking the Akali, trying to stop her getting around the map. As you're saying, that something just to stop Cream being able to have freedom in the fights. Nautilus still available. It's one of the go-tos in the LPL. Something like a Bard could work as well, because Bard does well being able to throw your ult at the Twilight Shroud. You can also allow Ezreal to just sit and farm while you roam, but it is going to be the Nautilus in the end for Lucas.
Gonna all index into more frontline coming out. I would expect something like the Leona to be answered. We've already seen a nice game of Rel coming out from Cold, so keep going with more engage on the side of OMG. And now the question is where they're gonna look with their jungle role, because a lot of things already taken off the table. The Lee Sin's still there as the flex, as we've talked about. You do have things up like the Xin Zhao, which do go with that all-in style. We've seen Viego picked up a few times, so that can be picked up. Look for those resets in team fights and try to just take over off that. You already do have a decent amount of AP damage coming in from the fact that you do have Akali and Kai'Sa on your squad, so that wouldn't hurt too much at all.
Could go for that. Xin Zhao locked in for Aki here, so huge amount of assassination potential, right? Just look at this composition from OMG. It worked in game 1. Just have a composition with only all in. Just go buttons across the board and see if you can just one-shot everyone. This time around, though, Wink is going to be on the Ezreal. Much easier to survive against this kind of composition when you're on something with a mobility spell for himself. So the Cogmore, not the answer this time. And then the Rise from Rookie once more. I will say, Rise is pretty susceptible to these kind of compositions. If you're out of position, they can jump on him real quick.
Just that early range, that low range coming in from Rise, right? That making it so if we do get into team fights, that he is a very viable target for the side of IG to jump in on. IG do have a ton of scaling, though, with the Rise, with the Ezreal. Diana scales incredibly well, too, so they will be outputting a lot of damage later on. And it feels like we're in a very, I'd say, similar place to game 1 in the sense that it's like, okay, we're going to be checking the coordination coming in from OMG on these team fights. If they can have the same beautiful amount of flank wards or plays around vision and brushes that they did in game 1 to be able to get on the threats of IG. IG, though, now do have more options to play around. Ezreal going to be a ton safer against this sort of composition. You will have Rookie who will be able to push outside, so another avenue to find pressure from, get vision down, clear vision, and make these roams. So I definitely think this isn't going to go similarly to game 1, even though we are seeing OMG with a similarly themed comp and the same side selection.
Yeah, we'll see. And I do really feel like the first few kills of the game, and so far in this series it's been true, are really going to define how the rest of the game goes. Like, we saw the IG Baron steal in game number 1, but it didn't really change the direction of the game, right? It just slowed things down slightly for OMG. But it felt like the early game went the way of OMG, and they snowballed like crazy. Then game number 2, IG win a little bit in the early game and snowball like crazy. It feels like that is the narrative of this series. So the first few minutes are going to be crucial here as we head into game 3 between IG and OMG. Aki and Shun, though, both of them in their rookie years on these rosters, both of them with carry junglers in their hands, and I'm excited to see which jungler can set the pace for game 3. All right, so Lyric has decided he's no longer talking today. He's looking at me on the webcam. I can see him there. He's just grinning away at me. We were playing, not Russian roulette, I don't know. We were staring each other down. And I broke. I spoke first. I'm the fool. Here we go, though. Game 3, OMG IG.
I was wondering how long you'd be able to keep that silence up, Munchables, but no, sadly, it wasn't for too long. Now we're going to go get into this lane matchup. Once again, I think Rookie should be able to guarantee himself lane prio like he did last time around. Is going to play really aggressively and start that W once again. W does have higher base damage than the E does, so can look for more of those aggressive trades, especially when, as Rise, it feels pretty awkward to be running out of mana too early, even though he does start the tier, so something like that won't be a problem for him, even if he had started the E. And I like this by Rookie. The mage minions pulled up close, so now he can walk even farther forward and really push cream off this minion wave.
Yeah, it feels like, I mean, this is just Rookie all over, right? Being super aggressive in the early laning phase, trying to squeeze every tiny little bit of an advantage that he can find for himself, as Aki moving up towards the top side. Has forgone his Krugs, just did the chickens and the red buff, and is moving up towards his top side. Could potentially look for a play up top, because Volibear is susceptible as the flash forward from Cod. That was beautiful, and now Lucas is in trouble as well. Might be able to get away with the dredge line onto the tower, or perhaps he can just walk out of that one, but this bot lane from OMG stepping up in the 2v2.
Yeah, Wink not even really having time to react with how quick Cold was on that play. A ton of damage coming out. They even throw out the Ignite, so that's where they're looking to play from. We're going to see if they can crash this wave in. Lucas is still there, so Wink may be losing out on a little bit. We already see a CS advantage building up for him. We hit on how Rookie is winning in this mid lane matchup. Another point about W I didn't mention, right, is that slow coming out, so can even prevent a Akali from getting close enough if you tether correctly from hitting those Qs. But we're going to look straight at the spot lane matchup. Cole just walking forward. I mean, IG trying to play towards the brush. I'm not quite sure what they're looking for. Flash instantly into the snap from E. Allows for the stun to come out. Abel following up with his flash as well, and they just have enough burst to shut him down.
Yeah, Wink overextending to try and hit the level 2 to try and contest there, and he's punished massively. Now to the top side, you can see Cold has roamed over. Aki is here. They're all just going to hide in pixel brush. IG don't know about it, but they have more players here. Lucas still level 2, so if he goes too deep, he'll get one shot. Can Aki smite this one? Doesn't look like it. It'll go the way of Shunt in the end. Sonic Wave just goes wide. And OMG walk away empty-handed.
OMG being a very big fan of these brush plays coming into this series. It was almost cheeky. Could have potentially worked. IG did have, 4 members on top side like you highlighted, so even had they walked in, they probably would have been fine, but Cold always with a lot of potential to just snap that stun onto multiple members, and OMG find the burst to take them down. They still will be able to guarantee themselves a crab, but New might be in trouble. Does it flash?
Oh, this would be a huge kill for Shun early on in the game. Crescent Strike is on cooldown. Doesn't quite have the damage to finish. New off, gets out. Doesn't even have to use the flash, by the way. Just a ward hop to get away.
And that very nice control coming in from him, right? Holding that summoner, not wasting it if he doesn't have to. Realize he wouldn't have the burst to be able to come out, but we pan back to this mid lane, and once again, Rookie's still doing well. If you do hit your spell flux on minions while Akali's in the wave, that actually can still hit Akali, so that is one of the nicer interactions between Ryze and Akali, but still not going to opt into that aggressive trade. And so far, we're just going to see both junglers default back to farming their jungles when it has been a pretty action-packed early game. Even if it's only been 1 kill, we've seen a lot of aggressive posturing for plays to come, and a lot of teams looking for early plays.
And that feels like a theme recently in LPL, where we have these games that are high-action early games without very many kills actually coming from that action. Certainly EDG's games feel that way a lot of the time, IG's games as well. It's kind of exciting to be able to watch these teams sort of testing each other in the early game without really hard committing, just seeing what they can pull out. Especially this OMG bot lane. I'm impressed by this game being able to pull the 2v2 kill out of the bag. Just punishing the mistakes coming out from the IG bottom lane, which, let's be honest, has been maybe their weakest lane across the course of the split so far. I don't know why I'm saying maybe. It has been their weakest lane across the course of the split. Like, we've got Nani top and Rookie mid. Of course that's their weakest lane. Nani getting all in on, just as I'm complimenting him. New gets the kick, but the Q's on cooldown. New, you've botched it, mate. And he goes down as Shun picks up the kill.
I mean, didn't New Sonic Wave in and, then throw out the kick? I mean, it looked like he assumed he wouldn't solve the damage anyway, but Shun waiting in the wings. We are going to see Aki just have to recall. Aki maybe
okay, the recall is slightly later. This is an opportunity. Aki can surely do this one. He just has to time it right. Wait is the last second, and he gets it home. Very nicely done there by Aki. All available for Nani. He's not going to have to use it. That's the thing, right? Nani was 6, so suddenly it's a little bit more difficult. Hey, he timed it right there.
He did time it right. It looked pretty cool at first, and I feel like a lot of plays we judge in the LPL, we go by how interesting or how cool they look. So, some style points going over to Aki. He did
had the mojo.
He did set back his tempo a little bit, especially the fact that he didn't go and catch that whole wave right because he did want to stop the recall, but did also stop Nani's tempo with his own recall topside. So, a bit of a trade-off there on the side of OMG and IG. IG now, though, going to look to contest this red buff. Rookie also is prio. He can move over very quickly.
Oh, Aki's been caught. There's the Moonfall. The True Shot Barrage goes through as well. Aki, barely any HP to work with. His Cold is ignited. It's ticking, but it doesn't finish the kill. IG will get themselves the red buff, but a little bit less than I think they were hoping for that play.
Not having the amount of burst damage as of yet that they would hope.
Oh,
Aki,
no.
I don't think you can look for this.
Aki.
And Rookie just instantly deleting him.
You didn't need to check that. Why are you checking that? You know they're all there. Like, I feel like that was just greedy from Aki. You just accept that quadrant is gone.
Right, I'm to try to empathize with what he was thinking. He's like, okay, maybe Rookie's here, the rest of the members move over. He comes, it gives time for Cream to wrap around, and you could find a kill. But like you're saying, it's just way too much. Goes in, Rookie having so much damage already, able to kill him with not even one combo.
Yeah, I mean, when you're against the mid lane that's 2 levels up on you, you don't have ult yourself. The fact that he was looking for Rookie there surprises me more than anything. I think because he missed his W on Rookie in the brush, perhaps he thought that meant Rookie wasn't there. Perhaps he figured if that missed, then Rookie is already left and he's gone for the Drake himself. Unfortunately, if that is the case, he was very wrong in that assumption and ends up going down to Rookie. Should moving over though, because Aki has started this Rift Herald up for himself. Lucas is here as well, but you can see Cold and Abel are on the way. Wink's moving up. We could have a full 5v5 for the Herald here, Lyric.
Yeah, and, you know, looking at summoners on both sides, some key members missing some Wink, no Flash, but both Aki and Nu not having a Flash available for themselves. So right now, IG doing a nice job of pushing OMG out of River. Lucas gonna finally engage, though.
The moonfall on everyone once again, and IG started off great. Shun surviving, but goes down 1-for-1 on the back line. There is Abel popping up with the double cream. Jumps back into the play, flashes away from the hook. Getting chased out by Wink, who might just be able to clean these kills up. Isn't going to jump forward, though. It's a 2-for-2, all things considered.
Yeah, and right, we saw the punishment of the members that did engage deep on the opposite sides because they were jumping in multi-man cores.
Oh, IG have re-engaged, but they've died. It's not worked out. Abel just gets more kills. That's the unofficial quadra coming through for him as he turns it into the unofficial pentakill. Abel gets his pop-off game.
And I'm getting flashbacks to the IG EDG series where the same thing pretty much happens, right? Realm Warp in, Gwen is there to clean up all the kills. And I mean, that's so massive for the side of OMG. We're gonna go back to this. Dredgeline hits by Lucas and Shun follows him instantly, is able to hit a really nice ultimate, get the members of OMG quite low. Rookie and Wink on the opposite side of the fight, able to off-put so much DPS. And like we said, pretty much the members that jumped into the opposing squads were the ones taken down because it is such a narrow choke. It isn't easily followed up on by either team. The Realm Warp comes in. Cold goes on top of them, gets a multi-man stun. Wink is able to E out of it, but Abel having more damage, Wink was quite low. And then Cold and Abel able to turn around a 2v3.
That was beautiful from Cold. Obviously Abel there to sweep it all up, but the 3-man stun from Cold sets it up beautifully. Cold is having the series of his career, honestly. He's looking amazing every single game. Even the loss, his Thresh looked clean. And now Abel, just look at that scoreline. We were saying how Abel's been a little bit quiet so far across the LPL. It's his triumphant return to the league, and we weren't sure how he was going to perform. Had been very quiet, but now with 6 kills in his pocket, you gotta believe this is gonna be the game where he really shows what he's made of.
Now we want to see OMG utilize that and play around him, right? He's the big strong point on your team. Already is Kraken Slayer, has that serrated Dirk, so any early skirmishes you want to be opting into, they need to be around Abel, because if he's jumping in or if members like Shun are jumping into him, he's going to be the one that has the burst to help you take down the enemy frontline faster or find your way onto the carry faster than Wink, Rookie, or Shun can be able to match. So for OMG, that's going to be the name of the game. We expect to see Aki make his way down towards the bottom side as well. Maybe start trying to get some control of vision down there with Dragon up in 1 minute. Red buff looks like it's going to spawn decently soon as well. And we're going to have, in about 55 seconds, see how much work Abel's able to do on this 6-0-0 Kai'Sa.
It's going to be the big question on everyone's lips. And the thing is, it feels like if you're IG right now, can you fight is the question. They sure have a lot of scaling here. They do have this Diana that can still do a lot of work, has the Rocket Belt finished up, but against Abel, who's already kind of have the evolution on the queue, has a Kraken Slayer for the fight. Unless you're able to just one-shot him, I don't see a way that you beat him in the short term, but this composition from OMG, it doesn't feel like it falls off a cliff so long as you're able to get onto your targets. It feels like this composition is going to be threatening all game long.
No, and it feels like a stylistic differences in comps once again. That IG in extended fights definitely feel happy. You have Ezreal playing safe with his E, stacking up the Conqueror, dishing out a lot of Qs. You have Rookie just constantly outputting damage. OMG just all about burst. If they can find that engage, I think especially right now, high chance they win it. IG, they need to buy time with frontline, disengage the initial engage coming out from OMG, and then look for those extended fights. So I think this would potentially be a time where IG want to look to trade on the opposite side of the map.
Cold's in on the backside of this one. Shun onto Abel. Can he finish the kill? The damage just isn't there. True Shot Barrage through, and Shun finishes it in the end. Shut down onto the Diana. Wink is left alone on the backside, though. It's not the place to be. And Nu will chase him back out of the fray. IG grouping up. In goes Cream to try and threaten them, try and force them away, and they'll be able to do so. It's only able to go down on the side of OMG, and that should be the Drake.
And that fight was so crazy, right? We see Cold find the engage. They are able to find the initial kills coming out, but somehow Shun gets on top of Abel, has his ultimate, able to burst him out instantly. Wink left alone pretty much just spells demise for him, and with the fact that OMG were able to take out more members of IG, this will be a Drake that was there. So we're going to go straight into the replay. Cold flashing in, locking down Rookie, able to follow up, but there's the Q coming out from the Diana, instantly followed up with the dash. And he tries to turn back around. I think he knew he was dead regardless. Shun has the damage to burst him out. There's Wink on the opposite side because the rest of IG were forced to run towards their turret. He wanted to try and impact the team fight, but from that angle, you're just not able to do that. And OMG pick him off for the easy second kill.
Yeah, and I was watching Wink that whole replay to try and figure out how he got into that position. I think he just hadn't seen the TP from Nu. I think that's the only way to figure it out, because he goes for the True Shot Barrage. He's clearly looking at Abel, trying to help Shun just assassinate the enemy AD carry, and then by the time he realizes that Nu is there, it's already too late. The Sonic Wave lands and then it's done. Shun misses the Moonfall here, as Cold will be able to blast himself away, gets a shield, gets out, no damage done. OMG happy with that one. Drake's not even up just yet. And Nu looking for a 1v1 with Nani up in the top side, getting really good damage down in that isolated situation.
And we're at an interesting point because IG are still slightly up in gold because Rookie just pretty much hard won mid with this matchup. They were able to take that turret quite easily. We see IG even doing a good job now of punishing some of the resets coming out from OMG, and they're just going to get this one for free. OMG aren't even in a position to answer on the opposite side of the map. Sure, they do push in mid. It looks like members now are going to start hovering towards that top side, maybe get some top side wards down now, but no, OMG realized they were just too late on any kind of play. They didn't read what IG were able to do, and this is very reminiscent of OMG's first series, where it came to a lot of bad reads at what the enemy were going to do, a lot of bad reset timings coming out to where they weren't able to match or answer the tempo on the opposite side of the rift, and it's just going to equal out to another advantage for IG, where they've built that gold lead from a few hundred to about 1.2k.
Feels pretty good for the side of IG, having that gold lead for themselves. And again, Wink on this Ezreal. He's not having a fantastic game so far, but he is still going to be Ezreal. If these fights do go on any extended period of time, so long as he's able to stay away from Cream, he doesn't get hit by the Void Seeker from Abel, then he should be able to just bounce around the edge of these fights, blast his Qs in. Nu looking for an engage. He lands a Sonic Wave, but it's not going to follow up on it. So the Herald will be started by OMG, and it looks like IG are just going to respect this one, because look where the side laners are. Rookie and Nani both in the bottom lane looking for a tier 2 right here. And some Krugs maybe as a bonus prize on that one. But I think it should be answered by Nu.
So IG trying to go for this 3-2 play where, of course, you put your two side laners on the same side of the map. At least one of them should have TP. And then you go for the pick on the side lane. Then if something happens on the cross side of the map, you always have that 1 or 2 TPs to be able to follow up. So IG going hard for this bottom lane turret. They have all 5 members here. They are going to get this. It looks like OMG are answering on the top lane, and they should get push in mid, but IG should be able to answer at least the mid push coming in.
Yeah, I think IG might be able to contest this top tier 2. I'm not sure. The recoil's coming on through. The thing is, Cream doesn't have any damage, right? He's not exactly a tower taker, so second charge will come in, but OMG don't commit to trying to take a tier 2. So ultimately, IG win out that trade in a big way.
One for one turrets overall, but you opened up a massive side lane to play through as Rookie if you so choose. You can keep looking for those picks as they were potentially trying to do had a member of OMG showed on that side lane. But now we're going to come back onto the Rift. 1 minute until Dragon, so vision control on the bot side is the name of the game. IG do still have some wards, but you'd expect OMG to catch those out. Some of them are extremely deep if you wanted to look for a flank, but I don't think bringing Rookie on a flank is really the play for the way IG's comp wants to play out, right? It would be something like Shun coming in. So Those not going to mean too much, but at least you will be able to spot out OMG. They get first push on mid wave, and Nani is already making his way down.
There we go. Drake up 30 seconds time. Lucas moves in to try and get some vision control. IG staying grouped for now, but Cream is off to the side. He's got himself in a flank position. And honestly, the story of this series has been OMG finding flanks. Aki and Cold as a duo, Cream as well individually. If they're able to set it up, it could be beautiful. Cream spotted out by Lucas in the end, though. Obviously can't follow up. Knows that the rest of IG should be around to help protect that support.
The good thing for IG is that they're very aware of this after game 1 and how they played. Lucas going in.
Oh, Cream's on the back line. He's looking for Wink himself. 1v1 with the enemy AD carry, but he perfect executions back onto Ricky. He got the shuriken. Surely he can follow it right to the back line. That was beautiful from Cream. And now the rest of OMG should be able to clean this fight up. Lucas trying to get away, but Abel won't let him out. That's a double for the Kaiser, as Wink at least gets one. It's 2 versus 2 right here, and somehow it's deadly even. Nani does go down in the end. Noob's being focused though, and suddenly Cold finds himself almost alone in the fight. Noob gets the Sonic Wave. The Sun comes in. Wink is so low on HP. Noob has a red buff. He's healing up. He can jump back in as Cold is just body blocking everything. The shield comes in. Noob closes the gap onto Wink, who doesn't quite have the damage, and OMG have done it!
And I don't know how that happened. Let's remember the start of the fight. IG were the ones engaging. OMG somehow are then able to turn it back around with the E landing onto Rookie, cleaning up some of these kills, but Wink just not able to hit the skill shots in the end, and OMG playing fantastically. There's the initial Cream closing a lot of distance, though, with that rocket belt. Shun going in on the opposite side, but not really able to lock down anyone. He is able to take down Aki, but there is that shuriken flip coming out from Cream. Shun stuck on the opposite side of the fight as well, able to just take him down. And this is where it looks really good for OMG overall, but Wink is still alive. Cream is able to be taken down. And then we're going to get a replay of this 1v2. Does hit the Q, does land the auto. New doing a nice job of utilizing his Ws, and Cold kind of body blocking for him. Not able to hit that Mystic shot, which feels like it could have come in clutch if he wanted to win this one out. And, I mean, New and Cold are just bringing him on a dance.
Honestly, I feel like that should have been a kill for Wink there, but he messed it up. Oh, Cream. He manages to get... Cream! He's just started on him now. He didn't need to go back in. He didn't need to use the second ult, but Cream just feeling fancy. 2v1 in the bottom side, and he survives. And now the rest of IG are in trouble because the numbers advantage for OMG means they get a pick onto the support.
And Abel is absolutely massive right now. I think before this came up, yep, 9-2-2 on the Kai'Sa, already having the Collector picked up. Ooh!
Oh my
Cold
god, another engage from Cold. And it's as easy as you like for OMG. But the answer now from IG, bit of damage. Cream incredibly low, and Rookie is popping off in the fight. So is Wink. They're trying to chase this one down. Rune Prison is going to be available in 1 second time, but he can't close the gap. Cream aware of the ulti and dodges it. These fights are intense, Lyric. This is the kind of close game 3 that we wanted.
And the big difference with this fight, right, was that there was a very set formation. It was in mid lane. It wasn't this chaotic skirmish of everything going back and forth. We're gonna see how it started off. New finding the kick onto Lucas, so immediately having the numbers advantage coming out for the side of OMG. They do have a decent amount of poke coming out right. They're safely next to their own turret. We see Cold go in. Only locks down a 2-man stun. Rookie and Wink both were not locked down. And just so much damage coming out from both the Ezreal and Ryze at this point. With the fact that they are safely next to their turret, OMG aren't able to dive past Nani. Nani is also a very competent tank at this point in time. And those are the kind of fights that IG thrive on, right? You're not in the jungle. You don't have to worry about people coming from or getting behind you or your front line going too far from your carries. It's just set right there, and Ryze and Ezreal are freely able to dish out their damage.
And it felt like Nani played that well as well when Shun kind of buys a lot of time, uses his ultimate, turns into that Zhonya's. OMG sort of... We're half committing to try and finish Shun, right? And then they group up to try and finish him when he comes out the Zhonya's. That's when Nani goes for his own ulti and puts some pressure onto OMG, make sure that they can't just get the kill for free. And I think that's one of the most important things when it comes to team fighting, is making sure that your opponent can't just get anything for free. IG with vision control of the Baron, though. And again, it's just all eyes on Abel, right? Every single fight. If Abel survives, you've got to expect OMG win it. But IG are actually doing a very good job to not let that happen.
Nope, IG kind of showing glimpses of, between good team fighting, good map play, but overall, it looks like OMG are very comfortable on their champions, which, especially early on in the split, I think is a big boon, right? Cream, obviously very proficient on the Akali. Cold has found some massive engages. Abel having a very big role in these fights. And they're always on a knife's edge. In terms of fights, OMG have always been the team to come out ahead. It's just been in terms of map play so far, to where IG have been running them a little bit rampant. They've been controlling waves on sides better. You can see even the deep vision coming in from IG, to where we've seen numerous times of them looking for picks. We're seeing OMG group or back at very weird timings, which just opening up IG to have that slight gold lead.
I think the thing that's impressing me most about OMG, though, is the intelligence of gameplay that I'm... It sounds like an insult now. I'm really not used to seeing this from OMG, right? Like, this is not the style of OMG that we've seen historically. Like, when we see Cream there's the threat of a dive from Rookie moving up towards the top side. Nani's there. Cream is a rookie mid laner. The kind of mistakes you often see, it's not usually mechanics, right? Usually these rookies are really good mechanically. When it comes to just presence of mind and knowing what to expect from your enemy, that's where we'll usually see rookies fumble. Doesn't feel like Cream is falling for any of these easy traps.
I also feel like, right, context and being honest of, like, let's call a spade a spade. As long as we've been here in the LPL, OMG have been one of those teams that could really only beat the other bottom teams. Like, sure, they play against TT, they play against an E-Star, Rogue Warriors, maybe they can win, but they were really never a team that could pull off upsets against even middle-of-the-pack teams. So the fact that coming into this split, they look a lot more cohesive, that they look more mechanically proficient with some of the new talent coming in, that clearly from game one, they're on the same page. I think that is a massive step up from what we saw before.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I will say, I'm not sure that they did beat E-Star that convincingly, and then Hacker took that to heart, the phrase, if you can't beat him, join him, so then he went and just joined that team instead. But I am curious how this rest of this game is going to go here, because we're 25 minutes in, Ocean Drake has just spawned. This would be sole point for OMG if they can get it, but IG threatening a trade onto the Baron. This feels like we're pretty much into the team fighting phase, which in my mind, there are a lot of arguments to say that favors IG.
Yeah, and the thing about neutrals is IG do them incredibly fast, whether it is a Dragon or a Baron. I think a lot of people think of Ezreal as like a slow Baron dealer, but even though he's not a very fast auto-attack AD carry, he doesn't fall into the same vein, because whether it's stacking your passive or how low your cooldowns are, you can hit the Baron so frequently, and same with the Rise.
Yeah, his W as well does a good chunk of damage. Good answer here from OMG is the Realm Warp used to try and threaten a Baron take from IG, but it doesn't work out. New peels off of that Drake. Now OMG can move back towards this bottom side. They have 2 TPs available. They can threaten the mid lane. They can take this Drake. Rookie has to just settle for a tier 1 in the top side instead. So very favorable trade from OMG. And again, very intelligent gameplay. Very cognizant of what IG are trying to do. They will not just be pulled around the map. They're on top of the situation.
And the big thing about this, right, is now OMG will be on Soul Point, so very close to getting that Ocean Soul. IG trying to get vision up topside. This could signal for a potential Baron play coming within the next few minutes. Lucas hovering around. If any member of OMG walks into the jungle, that will lead to a pick. We see a lot of pings coming out around the Baron from both sides right now.
Dude, and I can't help but keep glancing down of what items Abel has. He is so monstrously huge, and he's picked up a Hex Drinker now as well. So if Shun or Rookie do manage to get onto him, he'll have that little extra bit of tankiness, that little extra lifeline that comes through with the passive from the Hex Drinker. So it does make it a little bit more difficult for Shun to be able to just one-shot the AD carry. And actually, if he does survive the initial burst, I'm pretty sure Abel just wins the 1v1 against Diana at that point.
Oh, I would definitely agree, right? If we see like last fight where he goes in, isn't able to hit his ultimate or something like that, Abel should be able to turn it around just like he did the last time. We do see other items coming out, though, namely Frozen Heart being completed for Wink. You do have a lot of sources of 80 damage on this team, right? Lee Sin coming out, Xin Zhao, Kaisa, of course, so also increasing his damage with the Mira mana as well from the mana. So a lot of good things coming out from Wink this game. Cream might still be a bit of a problem, but Cream not really finding the same acceleration that he did in game 1. Also going a very defensive route to where he not only has the Zanyas, but is also sitting on the Verdant Barrier.
And I have to say, things have started to feel a little bit tense, haven't they, Lyric? Because both of these teams now slowing down dramatically. They know the next couple of fights could decide absolutely everything. New gets Sonic Wave onto Lucas. He's not going to follow up for now. Scam as Lucas goes forward. In goes Cold looking for the engage. Sonic Wave goes wide from New, and he actually can't close the gap right now, but it doesn't matter. True shot barrage across the team. Winks in trouble as Aki's trying to close the gap. Naney only just arriving. He's late to the party, but in goes the bear. Realm Warp comes out from Rookie to get to the other side of the fight. Naney is alone, and it's a fight for OMG. They don't lose a single player, and they make it look easy as they wipe the floor with IG.
And this will be a Baron for the side of OMG. Also, they're going to open up a massive gold lead from this. We got more kills on Abel. We got Cream coming back into the game. Everything is looking good for OMG. I know fans out there probably don't want to hear it because we've said it many times. OMG have not taken down IG since 2016 summer. So OMG, with this roster, looking to bounce back. And we're going to see how this all started. Cold going to be the one to start off the engage. Goes in, lands the two-man stun. Wink, actually one of the members locked down. Forced to heal, forced to flash out, but still not really able to close much distance, especially then once Aki flashes on him as well. We have Cream in the fight at this point, and Lucas getting taken down, and really just no formation for the side of IG, right? Because we already hit on earlier how you want the enemy in front of you, you want some of the Mystic shots to be hitting first, whittling people down, buying space for your Ezreal, but OMG, both times we saw in Game 1 and now Game 3, when one member goes in, they all go in. They all know which targets to focus, how to play out the fights, and it's just been really exceptional play coming out from them.
It's beautiful to see, and again, that synchronization from this squad. They really know how to make fights happen. Loving the Zin's out build as well, with the Gold Drinker and the Hysterics, not going for the kind of lethality build that you often see in solo queue. Very much a team player. Aki playing to set his AD carry up. And I think also just a very correct build when your AD carry is popping off in the way that Abel is this game. 11 kills for him as Cream starting to get some of these kills himself as well. Rookie pushing on the bottom side, on the top side of the map, sorry, but Rookie, I don't know if you can win this trade. New gets a kick onto Wink. It's beautiful. Abel comes into the fray, and immediately IG are wiped off the face of the earth. It's too beautiful from Aki, from New, from Abel, from everyone on OMG. 24-10, and Rookie's like, hey, look, I'll get the inhib, guys. Don't worry about it. We'll trade it inhib Nexus. I'd call that even.
And Munch, who do we highlight when every player from OMG is having these pop-off moments? Who are these players where we can look at New and he's finding these, ward hops into kicks onto key members? When Cream, a rookie, popping off, when Abel having a standout game, Cold, it's just so nice to see, and IG just not able to bring it together. Like you said, the enemy team has Baron. They also have a lot of dive threat, as we just saw, so not really able to hold 4v5, walking to a position where you're also giving the opening, but still, OMG on these types of compositions are looking extremely scary.
I'm really impressed by what we've got to see from OMG today.
Look how happy they are, Munchables.
I know. What a monumental win for them, right? Like, obviously, we talked organizationally, but in terms of the players as well, they just took down Rookie. They just took down Rookie and his squad. That's got to feel so incredible as an individual player, especially for Cream, knowing that in this series, you took on Rookie in the mid lane, and you looked damn good while doing it. Beautiful play coming out from OMG, and a deserved win for the organization.
Definitely. Now on, there's too many teams now that we need to be talking about in contention for that, for like the playoff spots, because last split it was kind of easy. There were like about 10 or 11 teams who are like, these are the playoff teams. Maybe there's one extra team. Now we're like, okay, OMG are looking good, up showing potential in some of their games. LGD with Shadow are kind of popping off in a lot of early games. BLG's early games have been good. It's just too much. A lot of teams improving from spring to summer, which is pretty crazy when we've brought up so much LDL talent. Definitely a lot more changes between spring into summer than we had last year, and OMG being one of the massive beneficiaries from this.
Man, I know we say it all the time, and I know we're obviously massively biased, but the level of talent required to get into the LPL is so insanely high. The fact that we've got these brand new players coming in, like Cream, that are at such a high level already. This guy has shown in this series that he's an exceptional mid laner. We're like 2 weeks into seeing him play, not even. This is the very start of week number 2. I cannot wait to see what's ahead for Cream. I know there's so much gameplay still to see from him, but I just know he's going to have a fantastic split. And there are so many other rookies coming into the league every single split that are so exciting to watch. It feels like the talent pool is just endless in the LPL.
It definitely is, right? Even players like Abel, who sure, you know, they've kind of been bouncing back and forth for years, where everyone remembers Abel as the sub for Uzi, because Uzi always did that thing of like, hey, he doesn't play for certain times, so, but still goes back down to the LDL, gets a shot to come back into the LPL, and now I'd say performing very well. They've shown a lot of diversity in what styles they've been trying. We've seen the Aphelios Thresh, we've seen the Senna Tom Kench, we've seen these more aggressive bottom lane duos coming out, and I'm glad that we're starting to see an identity kind of form for OMG as well. They're not drifting away from the assassins in the mid lane. Sure, we've seen Cream pick up the victor in one game, but they're embracing what their players are good on. I think new on the Wukong and Lee Sin also, these are two of his champions where he's a standout. He is able to put up good numbers. And then Aki really doing a good job of bringing the early games together for the team. I think in game 1 we got to remember those equalizers especially, but this game was OMG finding the one right fight they needed, and they were able to snowball the game off that.
Really, really beautiful. And a bit of a sad loss here for IG as well, if we look at the other side of the board, because this roster in this series, game number 2, everything looked amazing, and they clearly went with the Diana again, feeling like that was the way forward, but couldn't really make the same thing happen here in game number 2. I do feel like playing up towards Nani and trying to make him one of the primary carries might be the way forward for IG, rather than playing things like this Volibear. Maybe go for something where you can be a bit more aggressive in the laning phase and maybe set up dives alongside Shun, because I feel like there is a huge depth of talent on this roster if they can just figure out the way that it's all going to click and that they can dominate these games.
Oh, definitely, right? It's going to take time. We see IG get into positions where they have advantages, and there's definitely a lot of kinks to iron out. I think from what we've seen so far, definitely playing that top side style is better. But, you know, Munch, I think to no surprise, Cold picking up the MVP this time around. He was just always able to fight his way on the enemy, especially on the Rel. His role was insane, but all 3 games, whether it was the death sentences, whether it was the Rel in game 1 and game 3, this man's engages were clutch.
Yeah, Cold looked amazing today. He's had a fantastic, even the loss, he looked amazing. As you said, the death sentence looking amazing. Managing to exploit the level 2, which was a bit of a blunder from IG, but also the flash forward at this play where he just gets the triple stun to set Abel up. Feels like it didn't really matter what Abel did in these early fights, because Cold was playing so well. All Abel had to do was click attack move and press Q every now and then.
And, you know, just doing it over and over again consistently. A really nice play coming out from him. Crash down into the stun, setting up for Zadie carry to come up big. And again, the big thing is he's decisive. He's never afraid to look for these plays, and he just kept going for them.
Really beautiful stuff. And, you know, Rookie trying to rub Warp out, but Abel just shuts him down. Cold looking amazing on the Rel, looking amazing on the Thresh. I'm excited for what... I never thought I would say this. Honestly, the amount of LPL I've cast OMG have pretty much exclusively sucked. I'm just going to say how it is. I'm excited to see more OMG this split. This is a roster that I can get behind. This is the kind of team, this is the kind of gameplay as well that I can get behind, where they are decisive. They do make things happen. When I think about OMG, generally it's been a bit lackluster and a bit all over the place, but it feels like now, as you're saying, they've got that firm identity, and it's something that I can look forward to. We're going to go to the stage, though. We've got an interview with one of our winners, so I'll kick it back over to Wendy.
Everyone, welcome to interview, and now I'm standing by with Cream, the main laner from OMG. So congratulations on today's win, and this is your first split to play on in LPL. So I'm very curious about your feeling of playing on the stage of LPL, and also are you satisfied with your own performance so far? 那首先恭喜你们今天也是拿下了比赛的胜利。这个赛季也是我们 Cream 选手来到我们 LPL 的第一个赛季嘛，所以说在 LPL 的舞台上打比赛有没有什么特别的感受呢？然后呢，对自己到目前为止的表现还算满意吗？
就感觉还是有点紧张吧，这打的，我感觉自己表现第一把的话还行，后面2把的话打的有点差。
I feel I still a bit nervous about playing on the stage of LPL, and in terms of my own performance for today's game, in game 1 I'm quite satisfied with it, but I think I didn't manage to play quite well in both game 2 and 3. I think I'm very humble because I think in the last game you still play so good. So let's talk a bit more about the last game, because that game was very close and intense between the two teams. But OMG, with the hard engagement from Code and also the very good coordinations among all the teammates, you were able to smash the opponents. So could you know more about the team's communication in the late game for game 3? 那其实我们的 Cream 也是比较的谦虚的，因为其实你第3局也表现的特别亮眼，然后特别是我们感觉那一局比赛双方是比较焦灼的，但是呢，在后期你们包括一个小五的一个主动开团呐，还有说你们整体的一个通力配合合作，感觉你们的团战就是打得比对方要更胜一筹，然后最后拿下了胜利。所以想问一下，可能在第3局一般后期的处理或者沟通是怎么样的呢？
沟通就是我们当时准备的就是让辅助去开团，我们 ADC 找机会去切进去吧。
So for the communication in game 3, we just let our support player code with that role to make the hard engagement to initiate the team fight, and also our AD player with that Kai'Sa, he was able to make dealing a bunch of damage to run straight to the opponent's team, and also because although definitely you have a very gorgeous performance for today's game, but there may be some overseas audience, they are not that familiar with you. So how would you evaluate on your own playstyle? And is there any particular mid laner you really want to face in LPL this summer? 那其实今天的表现是非常亮眼的嘛，但可能一些海外的观众还对我们的 Cream 不是非常熟悉。那能不能分享一下，你觉得自己可能是怎么样一个打法的选手呢？那在这个夏天在 LPL 的舞台上，有没有特别想交手的一些中单选手呢？
我觉得我打法就有些偏向于阿卡丽这种英雄嘛，就有点像刺客的这种。然后最想遇到的中单又今天打过了嘛，是的，感觉 Rookie 是个很强的选手。
So in terms of my own playstyle, I think I prefer those champions like Akali, those assassin champions, and the main laner I really would like to face. I have faced him in today's matchup, and I also think Rookie is a super strong player. And my last question is, today is our Dragon Boat Festival, or traditional festival in China. So do you have any message to all the fans supporting you, supporting OMG from all over the world? 那今天也是我们的端午节嘛，那最后我们的 Cream 有没有什么想要对所有一直支持我们 OMG， 然后呢支持我们 Cream 选手的粉丝们说的？
祝大家端午安康，天天开心，多吃粽子吧。
So I would like to send my best wishes to all the people in this Dragon Ball Festival, and I hope you can be happy every day, and please eat more zongzi, the Chinese rice dumplings. And thank you for the sharing, and congratulations again. 那再次恭喜你们，一直期待我们 Cream 在我们的 LPL 赛场更好的表现。Thank you, and back to you guys. Bye bye.
Thanks, Wendy. Fantastic to hear from Cream off of a fantastic performance there, telling us to eat more dumplings. I wish I had access to dumplings, my friend. I would take that advice, I promise you. And telling everyone to always be happy, which what a wonderful sentiment. I love that when she asked him which mid laners would you like to face in the future, he was kind of like, well, I wanted to face Rookie, and I just did, and I beat him, so I'm good. Which, I think that's confident man.
That's like our typical players' answers, right? Is that when it's mid lane, it's always going to be Rookie. When it's top lane, it'll probably be the Shire Nuggery as a player you want to place. Always wanting to go up to those legends or, lane dominant players. So good performance coming out from him. Also highlighting what we already knew. He's an assassin player. He loves assassins. He has an exceptional ability of finding his way into fights, not afraid to follow up, and highlighting Cold being the one shot calling a lot of these games and moments. So massive props to him as well.
Yeah, huge props to Cold, because being able to shot call that well, having great mechanics as well. I feel a little bit sword arty, right? With the big all-in, hard aggressive champions and also the good shot calling. Feels good for Cold right now and for the rest of OMG. Now, before we jump into a quick break, it is Dragon Boat Festival, and as such, we're going to do another one of our Hanfu quizzes. So type !Hanfu in the chat if you want to get involved, because you can win $20 in RP. Now, the question today is, which team do you think this Hanfu belongs to? Is it IG, is it EDG, or is it OMG? Now, all of these teams have the same colors, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you to figure it out, but we'll let you guys get involved. Exclamation mark Hanfu once again in the chat if you do want to get involved in the quiz. There will be 20 people that get the correct answer will win a $20 RP card. So if you want to have some similar style on the Rift to what our players in the Hanfus had at the first day of the Dragon Boat Festival, you can buy yourself a nice little skin with the $20 of free RP. With that said though, Lyric, that's going to round out our first series, which means we're going to jump into a breakdown once we return. We're going to be going into our second series of the day, and it should be a bit of a banger as well. We've got EDG stepping up to the stage up against RA.